Joining us now, Republican Congressman from Texas and member of the House Oversight Committee, Michael Cloud. Congressman, thanks so much for being on the show. How important are these interviews with Biden's former aides, and which of them do you think might be the most revealing?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe the one with the doctor, but we'll see. Time will tell. You know, it's one of the worst hidden secrets, I should say, is the mental decline of the president. It's unfortunate, you know, what happened to him, but it's grotesque what it seems to have happened with those who were maybe pulling the strings. And this is about getting down to what really happened. It's part of our job as the Oversight Committee, especially as we look at pardons that were really outside the norms of what a pardon would be. They were so broad-based, many of them. And for us, seeing if they actually had validity is important for us bringing justice, for us bringing transparency and oversight.
Well, that was sort of my next question. I mean, there does seem to have been a very, very broad effort to hide his apparent cognitive decline, and they were very successful for a long time if, in fact, they were doing that. So what is the importance of transparency in the White House? Why is it so necessary for the American people to know exactly the condition of the commander-in-chief?
Well, there was some pretty dramatic legislation that was passed. It's important to know who was pulling the strings. You know, as we've noted concerning President Trump, there's one executive that the Constitution holds. We've noted that in reference to the district judges who think they have presidential authority all of a sudden. But the Constitution imbues one person, the elected executive, with the authority. And so if others were pulling the strings without his knowledge, if they were, in a sense, having executive orders signed, or in this case, pardons, that should be of really grave concern and really a kind of constitutional issue that we need to resolve. And so this is part of that process and part of our job as the Oversight Committee.
Well, one of the people who might have been pulling those strings has to be Ron Klain, Biden's chief of staff. He's arguably the biggest name on the list. If there was an effort to cover up Biden's decline, it seems like Klain would have had to have been involved, right?
Yes, that and Jill Biden as well. So we'll see if we get around to talking to her. But it very much so. I mean, this was a coordinated effort, it would seem, and we've got to get down to who was doing what in it. It's interesting to see, even as the ex-staffers either, it seems, go into hiding or write a book that seems to reverse course from everything that they told the American people up till now. You know, we've got to continue to look into that, get to the bottom of what was really happening in the latter days of the Biden administration.
Congressman, in a post on X, your colleague, Congressman Comer, wrote, "Let me be clear. If any of these Biden White House staffers fail to cooperate with this investigation, I will issue subpoenas to compel their appearance." Do you think Comer's targets, the 5 that he's mentioned, will actually play ball?
They'll have to, one way or another. You know, they can come under their own cognizance, in a sense, and then come and perhaps be able to have more favorable situation that they're sitting under, or they can come under the ruling of a subpoena. And so that's up to them to decide which way they'd like to come and appear before Congress. But I certainly think I'd rather want to come before the subpoena than after. And, you know, we'll see where it goes. We'll be ready to ask the tough questions when the time comes.
Well, another tough question, Congressman, is about Biden's use of an Autopen for pardons. And I know that pardons have this absoluteness to them, but if he was in some sort of mental decline, would that bring the legality of these pardons into question if an Autopen was used and we don't know who actually was behind the Autopen?
Sure. Yeah, that's the ultimate essential question in all of this, is what did the president know? When did he know it? And whether he even knew about some of these pardons. And again, these pardons were so broad-based, they were anything beyond what were the norms of it. And interestingly, they also came after the Hunter Biden administration. And so Who was really making the decisions on who got the pardon? Did he even know who was getting the pardons? And it appears that he didn't sign all of them. And so, these are important questions that merit investigation, and to see what he knew, when he knew it, and if he even knew what was going on. So in light of all the other evidence we have of cognitive decline, this is a very important legal matter that we have to figure out.
We all have a right to know who was minding the store when it's our store. Congressman
Exactly.
Michael Cloud, thanks so much for joining the show.